Hello, hello, hello. I am Brenda Jean Power, a medicine woman solution. And this is today's show. Are you friends with your higher self? Are you friends with your higher self? Does anybody know what a higher self is? Let me hear from you in the room. I'm curious because a lot of people don't know what a higher consciousness self is, what the higher self is. These are different levels of you, but it's less. Let's say completely less, minus the over-identification with matter. Okay, so in this case, I want to hear from you. So hello, Crystal. Hello, Nancy, Judy, Robin, Amy. Wonderful. Yes, I'm on TikTok too. So I want to hear from you. What is the higher self? What is it? In your words, what is it? A lot of people want to wake up, and it sounds kind of hippy dippish. You're becoming a tie-dye sheep instead of the black sheep or the regular sheep that's asleep. I don't know how y'all call that, but let's not really put labels on them to some degree, but let's define them. What's a higher self? Yes, what is it? Okay, so we can break it down into the word self. You beam your ass, and that's not kidding, you do. You beam yourself into this physical form. Okay, that means that our consciousness in what's up there, okay, let's break it down further. What is up there? I mean, we were taught by society, churches, that there's a separation and that you're really nothing, which is absolutely a lie. You are a mirror image of that reflection, of that higher consciousness, but you're born with the soul. Every one of us is born with a recorder, which we refer to as the soul. So my question again is, what is the higher self? What is that self? And a lot of people, again, come to different cultures. You'll see a lot of arrogance. Oh, that's just stupid, or other people will come, again, many perspectives. But let's find the common thing. You are important in this. You have a voice. You matter. And you don't have to separate yourself. We want to come back to unity. But in order to do that, do you have a relationship to your higher self? Do you have a relationship to your original self? What is the higher self? And so you've heard of false self. You've heard of the monkey mind. Hello. You've heard of the self that when you get emotionally negative, separates you from your spirit just enough, not cut off. It's just got a wedge in it. So you can't really hear assistance from your higher self. You're not able to access the wisdom from your higher self. It's always with you. It's never disconnected. We use certain words to help describe, but sometimes we don't have the best words. It could be your best self, because it's the essence that stands back with discernment. It's that part of you that you have, as consciousness, came into this form. And the more that we over-identify with what's called matter, okay, with our mental bodies, our emotional bodies, and these help us create life. There's nothing wrong with them. But we need to return back to the higher self. People are saying, I want to be a good person. Return back to your higher self. I want to have a good life. Return back to your higher self. I want to be happy again. Become your higher self. Don't keep it separated. You don't have to put it on every day. You can learn to become it. You understand? So important that you become the essence of who you are. Okay? You're in the mirror image of, you want to call God. You're that mirror image. How do we access that? We don't have to And then I can hear the other side. Well, that means I won't be able to smoke or drink or anything. Bullshit. You came here to explore. You can do whatever you want. Just remove the hate. Just remove the fear. Do whatever you want. When you start to realize that love is important, it ain't going to be about drugs and alcohol. None of that. When love is important, love is what guides you. When you start to bring the yin and the yang to get back together again so they can communicate properly, you can do whatever you want. But you're going to have to leave the misery behind. Change that personality. Stop doing a power play. You don't have to sit there and do alpha. You'll start noticing the ecosystem goes around instead of a pyramid. You'll notice that love can be seen and it is in everything. So what is the higher self? Most of you walk around just like I did back in the day. And from time to time, when I have to look at a lesson or get the wisdom or go through a field, but I can teach you how to be your higher self, even though you're going through a memory from the past. Now that's tricky too, because that's not as easy to say without really describing it. You're so much more deeper than just surface words. You're incredible souls. You have the abilities and the gifts that you can't imagine. But yet we turned them off, we dampened them, we clouded them, we separated ourselves from seeing them. They're right there underneath your nose. So's love. But the pain, the suffering is just an option. But the pain and the suffering doesn't allow you to see your joy. We are connected to joy flows. These are strange flow energies that run through our body that came and helped put us together before our meridians existed. Oh, guess up on my arm. Well, I have no idea what it is. See if we can hide that. Anyway. What is your higher self? When you're upset, is that your higher self? No. So when I'm helping people understand the higher self, it is actually joy. It is discernment. It is no judgment. It is understanding with and respect. And, not but, and respect. It's understanding that you, every part of you is perspective on this big kaleidoscope that we look through in life. And these are perspectives. And each perspective has a set of emotions, a set of beliefs. Okay. So what's important is to allow yourself to get into your higher self. Most of you don't even know how to be friends with your higher self. When you're upset, you are not your higher self. I can help you look through that part of yourself that can help you. It's just so you understand. And I wish I had my dry erase board where I could make sure every avenue saw it. But if you imagine this is the diagram I just drew. When we understand that the operating system is right here, the frontal lobe, the brain inside, not just the forehead, but it's this area here that executes, that creates your future, that makes a decision in the now. And when you're wishy-washy, your brain is stressed. So 80% of the blood is somewhere else. You don't have much there to really help you create, because stress is using the blood. When that happens, your ego, that part of you that believes in overidentifying with matter, that fear, that, oh my God, he doesn't like me. What did I do wrong? And those are words because they are vibrating at a different frequency And they are not connected into that now. They're connected into the end results of a past experience. What happens is that in that moment, we're only our ego, our false self. Then, if we're really stressed and we're scared and we have to survive, we become our survival mindset, a set of principles that said this is what is grouped, this is the stuff we have to do. Forget about everything else. This is the manual for living right here. Survival. When you're not deep in that self-preservation to survive, when you're in that stage, let's put you in there. When you're in that stage, you can be in one nasty mofo. Because, like, for instance, you take somebody to the hospital and they don't want to go. They're going to fight, kick, and scream. They're going to call you names. They're going to be nasty to you. And that's not normally their personality. They're trying to not do that. Notice your kids. You try to put them to bed. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do a particular outcome you want. And they will start doing self-preservation. They'll think of a million things so they didn't have to do that. Well, that really annoys me. I really got to stop looking at that. So your survival mindset, again, these are a set of beliefs, they're principles, they're morals, they're everything. Most of us run around at not the age. I'm 54. My name's Brenda. But most of the time, if you're not connected to the now and with your spirit and your higher self, trusting the flow of spirit, keyword, trusting the flow, that spirit has your back, your front, inside, outside, you are your higher self. But if you're second guessing and you're worried and you're doubting, you're pulling away from that wisdom, that set of mindset, that belief, that experience, and your brain goes, I know where to go. And it fills in the next best guess, throws you into that mindset to survive. Okay. Let's go further. Let's say you're not as stressed and you're just being ego. You can be super funny, but mean. You can see that you want something, but you don't know how to get it. So you get sneaky, clever, not a problem. But when it starts to hurt somebody, makes them look like an object, you don't give a shit about their feelings, only about yours. You've really had to, depends on if you come with your survival mindset to create a personality, or if you are this personality that hasn't understood the perspectives about love. You're still not your higher self. So here's the diagram I drew of my face. When I sit here in my frontal lobe, is it my spirit mindset or my ego mindset? When I'm stressed, I will be ego, but you can learn how to be your higher self. Now, what happens when we're normally operating through this lens called ego, the electromagnetic guiding omniapparition? This lens that we look through, we've cut out any wisdom, any information from spirit. This is why you find out that over time, we have to go to church, listen to somebody else's opinion. We have to go and connect the Holy Spirit a different way. We can only have to be on bended knee and cry for mercy. It's asking the Spirit to come and help. It won't help you because it gave you free will to do whatever you wanted because you don't know how to connect with your own true higher self. So you have to ask. But if you're asking in desperation, if you understand desperation, what does it do? It makes you go into certain areas. So if you're longing and pining to communicate with spirit, you've got a gap. Longing and pining says and defines that you can't get connected. You can't call it in that way. It has to wait for you to feel like you're with them. Feel like it's again, we believe it's separate. And you can't go through, and it's true. You can't get to your higher self if you're going to be an ego. You have to have your higher self, your Holy Spirit, your part of you to go into it. When you begin to step in further into your higher self, you won't be still giving away your power by calling upon your angels and all of this. You will start to realize that you can access these planes of existence. You can be right with them instead of having feeling, I can't do it. You're creating independence from your parents and family and friends, but you're also created such an independence from God, or however you want to call it. And we're still floundering around saying we can't do it. We still need assistance. But if we can learn how to access who we truly are, so when you are stressed, you can learn how to bring the blood back up, get yourself out of it. When you are stressed, learn how to take and fold those files by using success hope therapy. Or if you can't get your mind or polarity back into the right thinking field to communicate with your higher self, you could rub some points, source points. But if you can start recognizing when you're not in love, the space of love, not I'm in love with him. No, love and respect. Regardless of there being a dickweed, you still can respect the fact that you've been a shit show. Why can't they? You may not be able to tolerate that they're that way. Go heal your intoleration. Allow yourself to connect with people that are supporting you instead of weighing you down. There's so many different things. So when you're taking and realizing the higher self sits back and waits for you to ask for help, it's like, I'm here whenever you want. And your higher self just says you have to talk to it. But if you are constantly your ego and you're just, would you please? I'm going to beg, I'm going to borrow, I'm going to do. There's still that separation. That's the mystery. But if you learn to take the ego and you take the negative emotions out of past end results, you'll get your life force back, because you can't create or destroy, you transform. You've already invested your life force somewhere else. Because what is going on in your shit show right now at the age you are, this is not the first time you experienced it. You have a root that needs to be healed. And when you get that life force back, this starts to get to resolve out. The wisdom starts to kick in, and you can stop over-identifying with matter, and you start to pull yourself out and realize that that's a lens. I get to choose. It's a choice point. When your heart starts to really open up, instead of having layers of, oh my God, starts to open up, it connects with the higher self. So then you start to have heart-brain coherence. No, I'm not talking about higher self being in your brain. I'm talking about how your higher self communicates with this, your heart communicates with this, to communicate with you so that you can have a heart-brain coherence, so you get in a certain field. When your heart and your is just in this space of love like it wants to be, it starts creating this field around and through your aura. Your aura can stop doing this morphogenic field of what's called a habit field to keep repeating hell, because you are taking charge and responsibility of becoming independent from your hells. You are supposed to grow and become independent from your hells. Well, I don't have hells. Yes, you do if you're in negative loops. Yes, you do if you've lost somebody and you can't get this mind to stop thinking in pain and your heart stop hurting. You have a key. You have a key to get out. And that's called communicating with your innate wisdom, looking for that awareness. People wonder how I operate. I live it, breathe it, walk it, talk it, and dream it every day. What is that? I am my higher self. I am. Move that ego aside and put it in the back so I can read what I'm seeing and being in the moment. But I'm not my ego, my false self, my pains and my sufferings and the states of my littles. They're not in charge. So I may be 54, but if I was being in a shit show, I could calculate and find out the first 12 years of my life, especially the first 7, I'd probably have a first there. So I'll probably go run around as a 2-year-old in a 54-year-old body with a 2-year-old mind. Oh my God, that hurt. I know they don't like me. And these are different parts of ourselves. These littles are different personalities. They're still alive just as much as my 50-year-old self, 54-year-old self. You got to stop thinking linear. You're so much more. So the higher self, what stops you from being your higher self? All our old connections to experiences that are less than love. It's how we take offense. It's the moment just before the shit show. Then, oh my God, the experience. And then the after effects. And then the reactions. We're all of these things. And we try to get the brain, oh my God, the thinking. Oh my God, the thinking. The insanity. You want that to stop. Can't we just go back to normal? Can we just go back to happy? And when you have such major bitch slaps that come and smack you around, you're meant to move. You're meant to become more independent from your hells and get back to your source of love. So here's the problem. Have you developed your best friend's relationship? Because again, if you've not learned to heal your hells and move the ego to the side so you understand that this helps you create reality, then you can step into your bring forth your higher self so you can not have those emotions pull you in and create stories, false meanings, false realities. You're in charge of it. You get to choose. But can you and your higher self become best friends? One of the best ways to become best friends with your higher self is you have to learn to trust each other. If you're going to say, you come to me and say, hey, I'm going to fix your bathroom for a certain amount of money. And I'm like, okay, you're going to be here at 2:00 and I'll pay you this much money to do this job. And you're going to get it done in a certain amount of time. Yeah. And you don't show. All right. The first time might be all right. Second time, no. How do you think I'm going to start feeling about you? Can I trust you? Can I trust your word? Can I trust you? So here's the other thing. Your higher self, you say you're going to go on a diet. You don't discipline yourself because you don't really want the results. You're going to stand back and say, I want the results now. I don't want to do anything to get there. I can't get independent from my pain and my suffering and listen to my body and this and that, but I want the end results of the good. So you make a promise to yourself, I'm going to do this. And then you let the body's old programs from the past say, no, you don't. That hurt too much. So here's the problem. Your higher self is just waiting for you to recognize your brilliance, your love. Recognize that you can learn to trust yourself. Recognizing as you begin to trust yourself, you're going to trust your higher self, because then you're going to turn and say, thank you, Spirit. I have no clue how to do this. But instead of sitting in my thinking mind, because I'm told that's all we do is think, but it has nothing to do with our body. But stress makes us sick, but yet has nothing to do with our body. And our bodies are separate from this, and our minds are separate from that. And we must all be crazy. You have a mental body, emotional body, physical body, and a spiritual body. And those are the 4 ingredients to life. You need to come in harmony. So when you start to heal your hells, or how your energy is invested in any of those belief systems, because if you guys still don't know what I'm talking about, be a shit show, come to me and I will do source point and you do it. I'll give you instructions. I'll even give you hope therapy or success hope therapy. And all of a sudden your mind switches from hell, 1,000% to how you know it, to how you don't have to know it that way anymore. You don't have to hold on to that story anymore. You actually, the energies bathe your brain. It bathes you to notice the consciousness that you had chose and where you can be. And now suffering becomes the option, and where you can be you. You with me so far? So when I say I'm going to do something, I know I'm having a conversation with self. I also check in to make sure I'm not having a conversation with ego. I'm actually I would like to say, okay, so thank you, Spirit. I'm going to have a conversation with my higher self. And I am new at this. So thank you, Spirit, for showing me, communicating with me, building this bridge of communication so that I know it's you and that I can learn to trust myself instead of my fear, instead of believing in worry, doubt, and all of this. I have to learn to trust myself. Now, you asked me, how do I wake up every day with joy? How do I create my day? How do I be me? How do I memorize all my good stuff? How do I display the consistency of me? And I'll tell you, it's not through my identity, through the ego. The ego is there to help me create and see this reality. I don't have to keep operating out of pain and suffering. I get connected to my joy flows. I am connected and integrated more and more each time I heal to my higher self. Then I get to connect more to my higher consciousness. So what happens, again, here's my face. Ego usually operates in the frontal lobe, but when you stop it over, you become independent from it. It gets off to the side and shows you that it's a lens. Instead of being over-identifying, the lens. So you can see the electromagnetic guiding operations about how you've created your reality. Fear has to wait. Fear was there as your contrast to help you, but you don't have to pull it in. You don't have to believe in it. It helped you find and appreciate love so much that you're able to grow. You start creating a new firm foundation. And you and your higher self, you're like, if I'm like an ego and I'm like, uh-oh, I don't know how to do this, or I'm in fear, uh-oh, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. This is where I'm like sitting here, even doing just the OMG, the innate wisdom knows what you're doing. Oh, let's bring the blood back up to the forehead. Let's help clean this up. Let's help balance them out. Let's help them stop over-identifying with matter to the point they can return to that connection of the higher self. They can connect with, and I start to trust. So when I say I'm going to start to exercise, thank you, Spirit, for showing me a plan about this discipline. So I have the tenacity and the determination to follow it through. And I feel these motivations differently. Spirit and I work together. We're building this trust. Now, Spirit isn't going, oh, I don't trust you. No, Spirit goes, I'll be right here. Go do your thing. Love will never disconnect from you. Love will be there for you. Love doesn't judge. Love doesn't say, as you're talking to Spirit and you go, I'm going to choose this hellish moment. Spirit don't go, shame or no. Spirit don't do that. Spirit says, okay, how can I help? You got to get through this. How can I help? What do you want me to do? You want that? Okay. Your wish is my command. I gave you the ability to decide and to create, and I'll just give you the energy to make it happen. I'm not going to judge you. I love you. But when I can go back and turn to Spirit, even when I'm in a shit show, there is this ray of hope. It is so dark, but I'll see this ray of hope. Not hoping, that's ego's false self of using that word. But Spirit says, look at me. Look at me. Come on, look at me. And I'll look and I'll see it is a way out. All of a sudden, I become a MacGyver. All of a sudden, I look around where there is no rope or nothing, and stuff starts to appear. Instead of going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Oh, hold on. And the biggest thing they'd always tell me, if you're in a hole and it's made of dirt, start making a hole. Take the dirt, stomp on it, rise higher. Dig around like you're making steps. Stomp on it, rise higher. And if it just starts to rain and there's no lid, swim to the top. Connect with that higher self, and the strangest things will appear to help you. Shows you. My one teacher told me one time, within 5 miles, within 5 minutes, within 5 whatever, and that's change. There is an answer. You just have to be open to becoming aware to see it. And it has nothing to do with ego. You have to learn the language. So I switched tribe into a space where I'm teaching and group healing. So you like when you go and spend how much money for the physical, how much money for the mental, how much money for, most people group mental and emotional together. Love all those tools. Why don't you add one more? For $36 a month. I mean, I'm not trying to sell you anything as much as I'm supposed to promote the fact you have a chance and a choice to do something with your life more than what you already have. And if it's not really working, be aware that this is available. You pay $36 once. How many times do you go and to these different places, and how much do you dish out? Some places, some of it's free. But then you may have to buy medicine, do any of this, or again, thank you, Spirit, for having all those avenues. Let's add one more. And this is a self-help, more of a empowerment through enlightenment. It is a way for you to participate in your healing as other people help you with their knowledge. It's helping you become independent. I want you to think about it. I hardly have shit shows because my turnaround times are instant. When I don't quite see something and understand, it'll stay until all of a sudden I figure it out. But it isn't about figuring it out with my ego. It isn't about figuring it out minus spirit. It is about me and my higher self figuring it out. And I'm listening constantly like I do through the other side from the 7th plane. And I say, thank you, Spirit. Show me what I have to learn. Show me where I can get the wisdom. Show me how to get out. Thank you so much for all this is already done. And I see myself whole going, oh my God, there it is, and then when it does show up, I take pictures in my mind. That's the feeling. That's the feeling. I need new definitions to my words and feelings to my words. So I'm downloading new feelings, new emotions, because people think this is, we've lost the ability. What does health feel like? Feels good. But if you've never had a comparison of what it really means to feel good, try being sick and then you feel good. Nobody really registers those pictures. So if every day you woke up and go, I feel good. Not, I don't feel like shit. Because the brain goes, you want me to make you feel like shit? Okay. No. Dang, it's got its own definition. So you're going to be downloading new information, new definitions. But most of you guys don't realize how to see it. And that, again, the key is awareness. When you learn to communicate with your higher self and you have this new awareness, you'll actually start to feel it expand. And the joy flows just start to joy and flow and randomly go where it needs to. And this is where some of you get glimpses of synchronicities. But if your ego tries to control the synchronicities, then it's going to make you think about everything that comes through. And then you become anal and then you become lost and you're like, why didn't it work? You have to be in the right mindset. You have to be in the right mindset. Oh, good job. Autumn says, I've been doing my best to write in my other journals. Good job. Robin Spicy says, love that. Hello, Teresa. Let's see. So when you're manifesting, there's a lot of cool things that Spirit has that helps you manifest. Amy says, I did yesterday was a total basket case and 15, maybe 20 with Brenda, I was me again. So it doesn't take long. She was a shit show. She's also working on the Mothership, which means, and if none of you have heard me say the Mothership, is that we have the surface. We go down to the root. And sometimes that root goes back to that mothership. And it's like, then it starts to kick really things to the curbs because you're like, whoa, I thought I had a deep meaning before. I really have a deeper meaning now. Oh, wow. You keep going. Do you understand? So you can have a turnaround. Yes. Hello, Lucci. How you doing? Hopefully you all still here. Hello, Laura. How you doing? Oh, you love. See, this is why Spirit loves to speak. When people like you go, oh, thank you. This you pay for this education. I give it away for free. But the classes I have, and you can ask any of my students, you're like, she's giving all this juicy stuff. Trust me, there's more juicier stuff, and I show you how to connect it all. Oh, I love Benjis. Oh, flew off. Yeah, isn't that weird? Ugh. Anyways, let's look at all you wonderful people. Okay, so can you describe what the higher self is? Can you now? You get meat and potatoes. You get, I don't believe in fluff and stuff. I will help you find certain things, but I also will sit there and make sure you go, what do you call it, into a deeper way of being. When you come in and you say, I want this, I don't just give you the surface. Thank you for the stars. Thank you for the stars. Yes, both of your names are going into a drawing for a chance to win 8 minutes with me on the air at the beginning of the month. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you. I like to give back. So if you have any testimonies about tribal, I would love them so that I can help other people see them. I don't want fluff and stuff. And what I'm asking for is, did it change your life? Did it help you? What did you learn? An antidote, a story. Because I want you to know how you know you've grown. Oh, hello. Thank you so much for the roses. And Amy, I think you're in that one. So if you're in that one, if not, get you over there. And write down Animal Con, which is Teresa. Hey, hi dear. How are you? So says I've been having triggers and I keep holding L2S. Okay, you holding those. And are they resolving them out? So sometimes you're different stories. So yes, you can heal yourself, but sometimes because the story goes deeper, and thank you so much, Autumn, your name goes in the drawing. It goes deeper. You have this stuff that you don't know how to communicate or connect. And this is where it's the spider webs and the tentacles, and these are the stories, and this is irrational way of getting there, and then the rational, and it's all confusing. But yet it's not. Because higher self will help you to see this differently. What is the higher self? The higher self is that ability to communicate with your true essence of who you really are and learn that language and learn that space of love. To understand that it's not, hey, I just hoping. No, you start to transform and it costs you your old personalities. There is a cost to create that new reality you're looking for. But you have got to stop. You got to get out of your comfort zone. You have to heal those uncomfortable things. And the reason you're in your comfort zone and you're in those uncomfortable things is because you couldn't stop the thoughts. I got a panda, thank you. You couldn't stop the thoughts. You couldn't stop the emotions. You couldn't stop the hellishness, the insanity. Oh, no, can't do that. Okay, so it's up to you. If you are ready and you hear a soul's urge, there's got to be something more to life than this. I urge you to really invest in yourself because you are ready. You are ready. So I brought it the office out and into a show. So you have it cheaper yet. I brought it out of the office into a group. It's up to you. It's up to you. And I can give you all the examples in the world, but it won't make a difference until you experience it for yourself. And what I found is that even when people experienced it for themselves, all of that old programming puts them back to sleep. So you have to find that discipline. You have to find that, set your GPS for joy. And if that's not joy, heal it out. And if that's not joy, heal it out. Keep getting there until you really evolve. I'm like, what's on my face? I think it's my screen. I'm looking at the wrong screen, so I'm freaking myself out there. Let's see what we got here. Chapters revolving. Yeah. And see, the thing is you want evolving versus revolving. Because if you have not, let's say you're in ego mindset, you don't know it, and your hells are there, it'll be like a Ferris wheel. It'll go around and same shit, different day. Same for an elevator or the, what do you call it, those doors that go around? You want a evolving. As you start to evolve out of that chapter, then when the cycle revolves around again, you create a revolution with an evolution, and you got to evolve. There used to be a commercial about that. Oh, see, you said, see, you realized it. We're seeing it more and more. We're starting to remember how to evolve now. We did not remember how to evolve. We were waiting for time to do that. But we have now, can put it in our own hands, go inside, and we can do it ourselves. It is worth learning to heal yourself. Exactly, because we were taught that we can't heal ourselves. Well, that depends on what you need. Like if I when I broke my fingers, yeah, I went to the doctor. But I didn't just say, here, fix it. I took responsibility in my own hands and helped myself understand I can help heal the process. All the tools are needed in the toolbox at some particular point. Don't cut everything out. Don't cut everything out. Learn, grow, do what you got to do. Lucia says, investing in Brenda's travel is more than soul healing. Aha. She provides teachings and healings that support deeply. Yes, that's why there's all these classes, but I try to combine that first part for you because that's the first white level belt of awareness. And if you can start building there, then when you start taking those other classes, you're already going to have one step ahead. And you're not going to be, hey, I'm left out of the loop. No, you're going to be more in the loop because you're working in that 7th plane energy field. You're familiarized with that energy that I'm holding. And you're coming in going, hey, I want a taste of that. I like that. Yeah, this is yours. It's everybody's. That's why when you go to do the healing, you can. I have healed areas in my life that I kept me from tripping over. Oh, yeah, it kept me tripping. I am now revolving deeper layers. Yay, I catch the unresolved issues quickly and thoroughly. I highly recommend Brenda Teachings. Excellent. See, she's a great healer, but she just needed an extra tool. We all do. And just the empowerment alone. Okay, just let's talk about that for 2 seconds. When my babies were sick, I felt helpless. I felt all the fears and worries come up. Yes, please join that one Facebook group so you become aware. Judy will have to get it. It's a metaphysical one so that you can get connected to a few things. That's my first point you should go to. And the other ones are pain and all of that. But what was I talking about? My son was sick and I felt helpless. And I didn't know what to do except for wait. And that impending doom, that fear, I had no tools for that. Spirit said, while this is happening, you could actually learn to evolve. And over time, I've learned that I can help my kids. I can help myself. It doesn't do them any good if I come to the table with fear. If I come to the table with seeing them whole, whatever their choice of their soul wants to do, it's supporting and loving. Empowerment. I've been empowered. Empowerment through enlightenment. This has been always the key. I've been doing it since 2003. Had to take a hiatus for a few years when I came over here because Spirit wanted to sculpt me into something different or more. But that empowerment, it's not about ego empowerment. It's a higher self empowerment. That's why it's just empowerment. Empowerment through enlightenment. The knowledge that you get, because when you're in that field, see, each and every one of you, you want that field, you'll step into it. It's not magic, it's there. You just haven't seen it. Some people will step in it and get fear and leave. Some people step in it and go, I want more. There's nothing magical. I'm not doing anything except for showing you what is laid before you that's already yours. And I just know how to get in and out of it. I know how to be there. I know how to play in it. And I can share that. Thank you, Deb. Your name goes in a drawing for a chance to win 8 minutes on the air with me. So thank you. And if you don't like being on the air, don't worry. It's not about video. You can just have audio. And if you don't want that, you can pass it on to somebody else that you want it to give. So it's all good. You are important. Your voice is important. In tribal, your voice is important. I'm not saying you come to the thing and your voice is about bitching, moaning. It's important that you can say those things. That's fine. That's fine. We want to know how you know it so you can wake up and hear how you know it. And then when you use tools, you can actually say, oh my God, that's how I knew it. But I know love so much more. And then when you use your voices to say about your transformation, you have an empowerment feeling and you realize when I say that voice was important, I'm not lying. I want you to hear your beauty. I want you to connect with your higher consciousness. I want you to connect to your freedom, your stability, sanity, serenity, space. Okay, I know I missed one, but I want you to connect to your successes. And I didn't say success, I said 6 S's. Safety, security, stability, sanity, serenity, and space. And when you begin to feel the 7th plane, it isn't about me moving the energy. Like when you go to certain places, classes, events, they get that music going. Yeah, come on, come on, come on. And you just feel like, oh my God, oh my God. You're turning on the trust. And all of a sudden, oh yes, I'll buy anything you ask. Ah! And then then afterwards you have remorse. I'm not doing that. Oh, look, I got a crown. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Okay. But here, this is you. You've come into yourself. You realized, what? This is natural. This is normal. This is love. It isn't fakery. I'm just showing you. Can you see the energy that is yours? And when you begin to feel it, you begin to build that trust to your higher self. There's no magic there. There is no woo-woo. I take the woo-woo out for you so you can see the reality with your spirit and your heart. Exactly. Every situation needs our energy. What type of energy we release will grow that situation. Well, here's the thing. If you're not in charge of, oh, I got lights. If you're not in charge of listening to your higher self, then your old programs are going to run and do the auto response for you. Your inner world created a particular outer world. When you become awake, you're transforming these end results that have been captured and you keep reinvesting every single day. You only get 100%. Let's say you get only $100 every day you wake up. It's it. And you take that $100 and you invest in your 2-year-old pain, your 5-year-old experience, and you keep going as you age, you're going to have spiritual debt. And it's going to get exhausted. You're going to feel the lights on your cells are not quite on. You can heal that bad stuff. You can resolve it. You can go back to your inner child. Oh my God, I know you couldn't handle when you were molested, honey. Let's take care of those thoughts. And you learn how to help your littles finally clear out those thoughts and wipe off that ickiness and calm those emotions. And that inner child, when you see that, when you get to actually see your inner child go play, it's amazing. It's beautiful. because you really do feel that you've healed and changed something, because you start to feel, and there's that picture you capture. Wow, I feel good. And this is the witness. Very, very important. Lucci says, no bitching. Want only clarity and resolving. The tools bring to support you with tools that change your life to know yourself as your higher self. Yes. We're more of a result-based, lasting result-based. And when your ego says, no, that didn't happen. This is, if you don't witness, then you're going, oh God, I'll second guess. Maybe it didn't happen. This is why you witness. This is why you write it down. This is why you train your brain to connect and hear, so you don't get put back to sleep. The ego is not the enemy, but the ego is meant to, when you touch a surface of something and then all of a sudden it makes little peaks and then it goes back to a smooth surface. That's what ego does. And you go back to sleep. But the more that you start to see it, one time my teacher said something and my ego goes, no, shit, she didn't hear that. And I'm like, whoa, wait, what? I heard that. Say it again. Repeat it again. Like, I'll give you a better one. My ex said something, what he did for years. My body did a compulsion, did a reaction. And I'm like, damn it, I can't control it. My friend, we happened to be sitting there. I said, I don't mean to involve you, but can you describe what just happened that I can't see? It's just right where I can't see it. I turn my head, I still can't see it, but I know it's there. She says, yeah, he gaslit you. What? My spirit, my higher self goes, yes, gaslight. Remember that. And it can't help me, because now it's my choice to say what? And so I'm like, gaslight. I got a pen and I couldn't remember how to pick it up. And I'm holding it like this. And I'm like, I couldn't remember paper. And I kept hearing gaslight. I looked at her, I says, I need to. And so she handed me a piece of paper and she goes, you want me to write it down? I go, no, I have to bust this. I don't want to go back to sleep. So then all of a sudden I'm looking, I can't figure out how to draw. I can't remember what letters were. How do you spell gaslight? But I wasn't going to forget this. And then all of a sudden I just kept saying, thank you, Spirit, thank you, Spirit, thank you, Spirit. And all of a sudden I was able to write. But when I wrote gaslight, it was somebody else's handwriting. And not spirits. I'm talking about, it was gibbity goop. But I busted through. Then I looked it up and then I honed it down and I busted that field. I started taking my power off the situations, and he knew he had lost. He knew it. Oh, you've changed. Yeah, thank you for noticing. And even though I may have messed up your world, I'm not going to go back to sleep. And I changed, and I took and I healed all the aches and pains. As soon as he'd say trigger words, and I could just see him melting before me. He had no power. I didn't have to stand up and fight. I didn't have to be physical. I didn't have to be nasty. I just woke up. I healed out my shit on my end. And he's like, he knew it was over. I didn't say nothing. It was beautiful. I want everybody to experience that moment of how to wake up from ego. And ego will do everything to gel back over, because that's what it's supposed to do. But you don't have to. Not at all. Not at all. So thank you so much for listening. I want you to connect to your higher self. I want you to heal your hells. I want you to notice the key. You've got the ego code. Crack it. Use awareness. But don't do it in ego. You may have to start off that way. But you can bust through and rise and listen to your spirit even higher. Hi, Rhonda. Good. Yes, let's see. Did I already read that one? Melissa says, I'm learning to be an observer of my thoughts. Good. Instead of my thoughts, it allows me more option, and I don't feel as trapped doing that inner work. Yes. The more steps you create, the more awareness, those levels of consciousness. This is what AKA your chakras, the way we think, the way we are. And when you start to raise the soul, you're raising it up like a child. That means the soul has to mature now. Not just the physical form and the age, but now you can go to your soul and says, oh, I remember how to get in touch with my soul now. So we can have a testimony live. And yes, could you do that testimony on Facebook? That way I can have a recording. So it's up to you. So somebody had a testimony. And the thing is why do we have these testimonies? Is it to brag? No, that's what ego would say. Most people will tell you that when they get in touch with that part of themselves, it's an amazing thing. And when you have that, you just want everybody else to feel good. And you have to witness and testimony it so that you know that you don't have to go back to sleep. You literally begin to lift the veils. And the more you lift, the safer you feel, the more you can be. So if you want to come on Facebook, just say yes to me. The one that's talking to me and test, I can't. I think that's Amy, actually. Okay, so because I know that, let me put it here and let's see what happens. I don't just want this show. I want you to learn something. I want you to heal. I don't want it just to be about advertising, but in order to get you to see that you don't have to be in hell, you can be free. It is important to see those different layers. And then we'll get into the readings. So remember, if anybody's new in the room, let me know. I can give you some readings. I will get to the 1 minutes and all of those others, and then any of the pays. So remember, that's an expedite. It'll push us ahead. Thank you for that. I looked at that. Excellent. Okay, so the testimony here is Amy. I believe I got that right. Peel that onion. Yes. Hi, dear. Oh, good. My volume's working. Okay. So you said you had a testimony. Yes. Go ahead. Go for it.
Yesterday, I was in a complete shit show. You had given me soul coaching, and I did my best to get that done. And I got back to a sort of a semblance of me, but I knew there was something more still not right. And I was going to sit here and go live on TikTok, and I couldn't do it. I burst out into tears, and I rubbed whatever points it was that you had given me. And finally I said, I'm just going to bed. And I went to bed for about an hour, and I knew you were busy, so I wasn't going to bother you.
Did you have a headache or any physical symptoms?
I did. I had a headache. My head was stuck, and I just felt yucky. And I knew where I was not a nice place to be. I did not want to it was like I wanted to get out, but I didn't know how.
See, that's the key important point, is that 3 years ago, you didn't even understand that there was a choice to get out or how to get out. You didn't even know there was a way out. There was no ray of hope.
No.
Okay, so keep going.
And then I had kind of fallen asleep, and Lily had jumped up on my head or up on my bed and kind of startled me awake. And then you texted me, how was I? Was I better? And I'm like, no. And then all of a sudden you sent me a link.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, I was done with everything I was doing. And I thought, all right, she had already paid money. So there was just reserves. Not everybody gets that ability, just so you know. Don't just send me money, because I've had issues with people in the past. So anyway.
And so I got up, and I think it was maybe 15, possibly 20 minutes. And it was the Mothership. I don't even remember what it was.
But it was deep.
It was deep. And I was able to go live after that.
Yeah, you were puffy eyes. There was no way. She was not camera ready. She was... I'm sorry. You were a mess. You weren't even a hot mess. You were just melted into... Yeah. And by the time that she got done, after 15, 20 minutes, life started to come back in her cheeks. Her eyes started to light back up. That smile was on her face. Her aura was starting to glow. And I said, are you ready to go live? She goes, yes, I am. And I'm like, well, she doesn't really have to do much. Just, maybe comb her hair, because she had healing hair. It was just all over the place. But other than that, she was good to go. So again, we're not trying to toot my horn. We're trying to get you to understand that she never believed she had a way out. She thought she was a prisoner of this hell and this pain and the suffering. Mm-hmm. And now she says, oh my God, there was a way out, but it wasn't working. She didn't go, it's not working, and I'm going to go back to hell. It's not working. And then she's there. And then when Spirit said time is ready, we had a session. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just the surface stuff. And the reason I say Mothership is because it started to link the stuff in her life from different points back to certain very specific events of what someone said.
Yeah, and it was like I didn't expect to go where we went. It was like it went from what happened on, I don't know, Monday, Tuesday, whatever day, all the way back to birth.
Yeah.
And then back to 7, and then to 14 or 16, something like that. And I'm like, I would have never been able to figure that out on my own. Well, it would have taken me longer. I would have been able to. It just would have taken me a hell of a lot longer.
Now, see, she would have never been able to say that 3 years ago.
Mm-mm.
Now she can.
I would have never known that 3 years ago, that what happened now was related to back then, and all of these different points. And it's like, oh, wow.
So the body heals itself. All she did was use either wrist, certain points on the wrist. She connected with the frontal lobe, the governing 20, that's so important, and the body did the work. She's empowering herself. And that self-empowerment is knowing that you can take yourself from a shit show to a healthy show, and you don't have to really do any work except for be in your hells. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I was.
Okay, if you wouldn't have had any healing tools, you would have had reverted to drugs and medicine, which are good, fine, helpful. Yes, it made her survive in the past. We're just saying add a tool. You would have been out for how long? A couple hours, couple weeks?
With the migraine, I would have been out for at least 3 days.
And then the story of the emotional shit show would have been how long?
Probably the rest of my life, because I wouldn't have known to resolve it out, but there's a way to resolve those emotions. And now that I know that, it's like, ooh, okay, what do I get to work on next?
See, that's a completely different attitude. Instead of running from it, you're sitting there thinking and communicating with Spirit and saying, I'm ready to heal this more and more.
Okay, yeah, and I'm ready. The day before, it was Monday. We did a session on Monday too. And I had gone to bed because it was like, I think I was probably 4 years old, and she did not want to talk to you. Oh my God, that I'm like.
Now her personality.
Yeah. And I was like, and you had sent me a link, and it's like, yes, and got through that one, and we thought, I thought that was maybe the end of this story, but it wasn't.
No, because it's a spider web, and then it goes into a tentacle, into another spider web, and this is how we kind of in our brain gestalt, we've stored them, and similar stories along the way, and different horror things, and we borrow information from people, and music, and all of this, and it supports us sometimes to stay in our hell, and you don't have to. There's a collective mind, all of it. Our imagination does not help us.
No, it doesn't.
Now, see, her voice matters. She's not just telling you, hey, look at Brenda and what she can do. That's not it. Mm-mm. Hey, holy shit, this is where I was. I know how I know who I was. See, she couldn't have done that before.
Okay, no.
And then she's got pictures in her mind before and after, and she's learning that she loves the after. She loves how there's a freedom with it. So she's creating an evolution, and her brain is starting to build muscle around the joy. And her brain's saying, hey, you know what? Instead of being in that shit show, how about if we do this? So when she was in her shit show, she's like, oh, I could get, little soul coaching. Oh, that didn't really quite work. She had to get to the feels. And these feels, you don't want to waste them. Good God, no. You don't want to repeat this shit. So she's like, okay, she's doing her best to memorize and all of this because she already has. But if she awakens up and has awareness to how she's memorized it and then use a tool to it, she can start pulling that out, separating those, bringing herself, her life force out of that moment.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I knew to do was just grab OMG. And it's like that much, my littles have learned that that's okay, no matter what. It's okay to do that.
Yes.
And but it was like they didn't want to be seen.
All right, so this is what we want you guys to understand what she just said. Normally, we can't, when we're in our shit shows, we're like, yeah, no, we won't use a tool to heal it because we need to be in the shit. Mm-hmm. Now, she just said her littles didn't want me to see. Mm-hmm. But yet, her littles are accepting the fact is, well, maybe I could learn how to cope a little bit. So she's teaching every part of herself to go further and getting herself out of the hell on her own. That's self-empowerment. And if she connects to her higher self and learns how to trust it, she will really do the higher self-empowerment. We want you to become best friends with your higher self, connect to that higher consciousness so you don't have to play in all those other planes of existence when you don't have to. You can evolve. Mm-hmm. See, it's just, to me, it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
It is. And when I still marvel at when I was moderator, 2-3 years ago? Mm-hmm. 2 years ago, something like that, whatever it was. We would switch off.
Yes, the hashtags at the end.
The hashtags. And I had no clue exactly what they meant. It was just recently that I figured out exactly what they mean.
That's why I always end it. That's why I always say the hashtags like resolve to evolve. And I said, you stick with me long enough, you're going to actually hear and be and feel those deeper meanings because they're going to have the experience and you're going to create a perspective and you're going to go, holy shit, I get it. And you're going to, and these are tools that are helping you to walk out. And the glossary words, they're just not words. They're help you get out. They empower you. Yes, because once you start to see these and then you look around, you start seeing the matrix. Mm-hmm. And you can stop taking things really personal. So you're recoding your emotion body and your mental body. You're recoding that spirit part of your body so that your physical body can start to become healthier. I appreciate you coming on. I really do. And again, where she was, who she was before, she compares it to how she is now and how she does things. Would you say you've grown?
Oh, definitely.
Would you want to go back there to live?
No.
Do you want all those old personalities that you had? Not that they were bad. It's just that they didn't allow you to be your true self or your purpose.
Wait, I would not want to go back there. And today I had a live experience. I had kind of fallen asleep and I heard something and didn't see anybody. So I started to go back to sleep and all of a sudden the door opens. Amy, are you here? Are you here? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm here. And immediately, because I didn't have, I think everything was open. I don't know, but this woman who I love dearly came over because the phone case that I had ordered for her didn't fit her phone. And so she walked over because she couldn't get a hold of me and whatever. And so I went to return it on Amazon. I could not find where to return it.
So you went symptoms right into the symptom field.
Yeah, it was like, and I went and found her new one and ordered that. And then I said, okay, it's going to take me a little bit because I didn't realize at that second that I had morphed into her, but I knew that once she was gone and I cleaned out my energy field and got back to me, right there. It was right there.
Yeah. Here's a good one for people. When a person wants you to hurry and they have anxiety and they have fear, and you know how to do this, but you know there's not enough time. Oh my God, they're not going to give me any time. Okay, so then all of a sudden you're trying to hurry and it's not fast enough for them. And then they go into a shit show because you didn't do it fast enough. And you don't want that shit show. And you're just like, just give me a second. And then all of a sudden everything just gets out of whack. Okay.
Yeah.
But we morph into them instead of learning how to hold our field and instead of learning that once you start to recognize, especially with spirit, that shoot, that is their stuff. I don't have to take that on. You get to your choice points, especially when you heal that stuff out. I have one question before you go. Because you had those comfort zones, those personalities and all of that to which you were, we're going to go back to that reference point 3 years ago. You couldn't have lived without them. That's who you are. That's your personality. What are you talking about? And in that field, she was needy. She had children that were not hers. People would just dump their kids off at her house and she would babysit them for free, use her money to take care of these kids. And the longest period you had with a newborn was how long?
About a month.
Okay. And she's raised some kids that were not really hers. And she got to be a mother because her body says, nope, we can't be a mother, but she was able to manifest to be a mother. Okay. And this was her life. She's her joy. This was her peace. This was her harmony. This was her hell as well. Mm-hmm. And, there's nothing wrong. What are you talking about? You could never imagine living without them. Let me ask you today, do you miss any of it?
No. A baby snuggle once in a while, but other than that, no, I don't.
So do you enjoy more of you time for you instead of just being there and living in the environment?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll sit and I will do whatever it is that's making me happy in the moment. Whereas I used to have to make other people make me happy.
Yeah. Because that's what we thought.
Yeah, that's what I was taught. That's how I was raised.
So one of the key points, not just of awareness, but independence. Mm-hmm. And independence from so many things. And when you have that independence, it's self-empowerment. So self-empowerment is another key to how you get out of this matrix. Again, at the time you'd like, no, I don't want that. It'd be great loss. I'm going to be in suffering. I'm going to stay in my comfort zone. I just, oh my God, worse. Everybody's gone. I wouldn't be able to know how to live. But here you are without those things. And they whittled out of your life. Did you have to go through such a grieving process? Or did you didn't realize it, but it just weaved out of your life and a brand new life started to come in?
No, I never went through a grieving process with them.
You never had to?
No.
You would have.
I would have had I not had the tools. And part of my mothership yesterday was grieving the loss of my mom because I never got to do that. I had to be the strong one. I couldn't lose my shit.
Right. So when she was comforting herself and she had all of these kids and manifested that, and it was good, right? But she was using it to cover up the pain she couldn't resolve in the first place. Mm-hmm. And so when she started to realize that I don't have to be in fear and worrying and all of this, and I can be more me, the universe started to line up because she became an independence from her pain. She became independence from her fear. And that fear, not her fear, that fear. And she became more independent. And then when things started to switch out, she didn't have to mourn it or close it because it already created a closure so that when she brought herself to the now, all of her resolves, she was able to enjoy it. And when I asked her to look back, hey, where did that friend go that you couldn't live without? That was a shocking face because you're like, what? They are gone. Oh, God, it has been 6 months. Wait, what?
Yeah. And I looked her up, probably a month or two ago, and nowhere. Can't find her anywhere. And
you're okay with that. You're okay to have an and respect. Mm-hmm. It's
It's
okay.
same with my siblings. I love them and they can go be happy in their lives. And
Exactly. So there's so many different levels to this part of you. And and once you start to wake up to these things, you don't have to believe your own nasty thinking, negative thinking, fearful thinking, because, and when people say, oh, when a person gets drunk and they start telling the truth that they don't like them, it's not really the truth. That is intolerance too. That is how they sat there and created a reaction because they couldn't get what they want, or they couldn't get you to look like them. There's different little things. And when we don't like something, we build an intolerance tube. And this is a great way to end relationships that you deeply love.
Mm-hmm.
And if that person would go in and heal their pain because they're out of sync, and the pain and the suffering and the annoyance and the intolerance, and they healed all that out, they would actually rise and take that relationship to a different level. Because that's what me and my husband does. We don't even really have intolerance tubes, but not anymore, because we catch it. We say, stop, we're out of sync. We go heal our own individual shit, be in our hells, and bam. And the turnaround time is could be seconds, could be minutes. And all of a sudden it's better than before. And it's like, whoa. Nobody's going, I can't apologize, or it's your fault. You don't even play those judgment games. You don't play those games. You go back into the alignment of love.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I'm finding between TikToks is people, like the forgiveness card will come up, and I'm like, you need to forgive them for you, not for them.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're forgiven, because they probably don't even know that you're holding a grudge.
Right.
And so it's only hurting you, and you're pouring your life force into something that's dead and gone. And I've had a few people go, huh? I could just...
Well, like, for instance, personalities. How does a temperament come about? How does some of your personalities come about? And a lot of them has to do with, okay, so you're in pain. Oh, you're unhappy. Oh, when did that happen? We think 2 seconds ago. Oh, so-and-so pissed me off. And when did that happen? 6 months ago, but I'm still pissed. And the more you hold on to it, the more you start creating these different personalities, because your brain don't know how to resolve to evolve. You have to teach it. You have to say, okay, there's too many thoughts. Instead of going into high beta, going into fear, you learn to talk to the body to heal itself. So it calms down these thoughts, calms down these emotional chemicals. And then you get into a space that you can be free of that. So the next time it comes up, you're going to go, hold on, I'm going to heal this out. Now, Spirit has just switched because I knew there was more to the story. And I don't know why it switched. What was I just talking about?
I don't know.
Well, when we pay attention.
Forgiving.
Yeah, forgiveness. And that, go ahead.
The thing that came up was, okay, this kid was running around, neighbor boy, was running around with a BB gun. And, he was out back and I didn't think anything of it. He was out front, and one of my kitties was outside, and I just about lost my shit. And I could not remember why. I was like, why is this triggering me so bad? And I went and took a shower, and all of a sudden I remembered that some kid back when I was like 12 or 13 shot my cat.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't forgiven him. So I had been pouring, and I didn't realize that I was still holding that grudge against this guy. And I kept pouring life force into that grudge, not knowing it.
Right, which creates your personality and your characteristics and your temperament. Keep going.
And so when I forgave him, it wasn't for him, it was for me. Because, he probably didn't even...
Yeah, it didn't phase him, because he's a life to do. But here's the thing, the characteristic and the personality and your temperament shows you that your life force, that Akashic record's still open.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to stay open. And that created a personality. And you really can't be yourself because you've over-identified with that moment. And when you start to heal out that and you bring that life force back, your personality, these benefits, what benefits have you gotten because you're learning how to heal yourself? More joy?
More joy. I'm healthier. I'm happier. I'm free to be me. That's the biggest one. I'm free to be me. I can be Amy. I don't have to be all of these different masks that I used to wear.
Good. And how's your relationship with spirit?
I have one.
Which means she didn't really have one before.
No, I didn't have one before, and it's amazing. I'm not going to say it's mediumship, but like when I'm reading on TikTok, and somebody comes in and they want a card, all of a sudden I'll hear not their name, because they'll usually type their name, but like a nickname that a grandparent or
like Hannah Banana.
Yeah, like Hannah Banana last night. It was like, did somebody call you Hannah Banana? And she's like, yeah, my dad or my grandma or grandpa, I don't remember. And it was like, okay. So I get these names that come through, and it's like,
so this is the benefit. Understand, your gifts are already there, just like my gifts. They're all there. All the gifts, we all have them all. But we have some wedges that keep us from our gifts. But when you start to heal your shit and stay more in the seventh plane, the benefits is that they turn on without having to really work for them. Now, how they turn on faster is when you do this type of work.
Mm-hmm.
And you won't have to work. Then you and higher self begin to scope each other. You know, spirit says, hey, and then you trust, how about this? And all of a sudden, instead of turning them on, you can actually begin to notice that it's there. It was never lost. And it's a part of you. And once you start to become with your awareness, again, is the key. You're going to go, whoa. But then each time your brain goes, hey, we're building a muscle. We know how to do this because this is where we're going. And it doesn't have to. And this is why when my tribal healers, I want you to make sure you're always on that seventh plane. And you can come across it that you're not on the seventh plane, but I want you to rise higher because I can tell when you're not on that seventh plane. Because I don't want you pulling anything if you can't. Because you can be at the seventh plane and then you can look at all the rest of the planes and pull from them. But if you're pulling from a different plane and you're not connected to the creator that all that is, then you can actually give the wrong advice. You can send the wrong frequency in the signals. We don't want you to do that. We want you to be on the highest plane possible. Okay.
And I've been caught a few times, and it's like, oh, okay.
But you're aware of it.
And I'm aware of it, and it's like, okay, get right back up there. And it's not.
There's no shame involved.
Yeah, it's like I don't feel ashamed of it. It's just okay. I slipped down. Okay, I just got to go back up.
And this is what makes us a different form of a reader. Because it's the way we question, it's the way we communicate, it's the way we do these things. Thank you so much for coming on today's show to help be that testimony and answer all these questions. Just know that you don't have to feel lost or that you're missing them, or because when I said you have to someday decide, is it okay to lose your family and friends? You I can't go through the loss of them dying.
Yeah, that's where my mind went, because every time I've lost someone, they've died. But it's not that they're going to die. It's just that you used to be here and now you're
you zigzag. You just go into the path to which you wish you wanted to be in, and you start following more of your own soul path and being okay with it. They may not be happy, but you don't have to let it be something where they pull you back in. Thank you again for coming in. I totally appreciate it, and we'll talk to you real soon. Okay? All right. Bye, hon. Bye. You too. Bye. Wonderful. Angela Stokes says, Brenda, I'd like to thank you for Monday night. I'm glad I was taking notes while still listening what was still being said. And Monday happens to be the tribal, because I do my Monday, Sunday, which is Sunday for a lot of people, United States and wise, and the next day is it's tribal. I went back to last Wednesday, and you mentioned the knots. Yes. For 1 minute. You said the same thing Monday, so I'm fixing it. See, so spirit will usually sometimes repeat a particular thing. If you're stuck, you may hear it in different ways, but usually they'll tell the same story. She says, so I'm fixing to get settled as quick as I can, and R1D and out. Love you. I love you too. You have the power to heal yourself. Now, again, this is a movement. This is not about me making bucos of bucks. I have to have a way to eat and live and grow like every other human. But this is my job. This is my purpose. This is my vocation. This has to do with you returning to love. It has to do with you integrating with love again. You taking the opposing forces, and they're not enemies. When you start to get the wisdom, you rise out of these particular chaoses. Instead of having to have a bitch slap, you can do it on a whisper. Let me tell you, the power that you have when you don't have to go down to shit show or get a bitch slap, hands down, I will choose a whisper every time. So you learn how to build that. You learn how to build that communication. Okay, so I'm going to turn to the room. Anybody in the room that wants a 1 minute that I haven't read before, I'll give you 2 minutes. But those that want this, we can go there. Then I will go to the list. Remember, at the end of the show, I always put up this timestamp so that you can go back and look. Even with those people in TikTok, in my fan page, if you ever need to re-see it, because TikTok doesn't save the videos. So Facebook does. Now I'm also on YouTube, but I don't have no timestamps there. But you still can see it there. You want a whisper. All right. Let me look to here, and here. Okay, so I don't see anybody on the expedite list. That's okay. That's good. Let's go over to this screen. Aha! I found the people. Miss April Lynn. Oh, hold on. Before I go any further, Angela says, I do. I swear, if it's not, I'm going to fall out. Okay, so heal. Miss April Lynn is on vacation, and this beautiful woman has renewed her vows, and it's beautiful. And God, she's in the Smoky Mountains, and it's just gorgeous country because she's been sharing her pictures with me. And when I get over there, that is one place I feel that I'm going to visit with me and my hubby. Here we go, Miss April Lynn. All right, sweetheart, here we go. I'm looking at the importance to life. That the idea of what about me is starting to dwindle, and it's not even true anymore. It's about us. It's about this space. And I feel like you and your hubby have decided to rise together further. And the conditionings of the old way that you attracted in, these auto responses of disapproval, they just want you to look at. Are you disapproving? Is anybody disapproving? What's disapproving? And now we're just going to go down and look further without any bitch slaps. Let's look at a whisper. This disapproving, did it create any self-imposed limitations? Thank you, Spirit, for showing her what those sound like, look like, and she can heal them out. As she begins to heal them out, she's going to do R1S because it's about relationships self-imposed limitations. And so she's going to do R1S. And then after that, she'll see if there's anything personal, then it'd be R1D. So R1S for her and relationships about disapproval, and R1D if there's self-imposed limitations about the self with relations to people. Okay. I'm going to look over and look even in TikTok. If you're looking for a read, let me know. Let's see, Miss Nancy Burke. Miss Nancy Burke, here we go. Thinking and feeling suppressed, feeling suppressed. When you feel suppressed, that means that you didn't really feel like you needed to suppress it. You feel the energy of somebody wants you to suppress your thinking or the way, because then they're saying taking over. So their energies are starting to take over and how you're supposed to think. And I feel like this is also an old program because they're showing me 2 years old, but they're also saying that you're starting to become aware that when you're thinking, that energy of their space will come in and it takes over and then it switches your thinking. That's what your spirit is telling me. And then all of a sudden you want to avoid what you want to think about. And then you take on their reality and their topic. If you can catch that you're doing this, and that's the key, bringing awareness to this, then you'll start working on feeling deprived. So you will then take your right wrist, go down 2 fingers. That's the second position. Put your thumb in the second position. Push in deep. Make the letter C. Wrap around and do this. You've got this. Remember to measure. Remember to measure. So if you are wanting a reading, say yes, please. Let me know. And then Nikki, Miss Nikki, congratulations on the wonderful daughter of graduating and going on to new things, a whole lot of stuff going on in your world. And so with that, they said you're going to look at fear and this impending habitual fear, and you're going to start kicking in the teeth saying, no, bullshit, no. So you're going to learn to do R2D, because the panic of how you fear something that hasn't happened, but you're like, oh, okay, we want to stop it from goes before it gets into high beta. And it may have already gone, but just do R2D. Then you're going to go R1D, because you just feel like, oh my God, I got to overcompensate. I got to do everything for you. I got to do this, because your body's saying it's loss. Now, this is loss from long ago, loss and fear from long ago, and they want you to do R2S, because your body is stuck in a startle. And I said, can you give me a kind of an age? 7 years old when she had a loss. And she says, and the other one is 17 years old. And there's a certain loss. There's a certain loss. Okay. And they want you to, again, R2S it. Yep. R2S it. And then R2D, if you start to really go into panic. Okay. If you really go into panic. Now I'm going to go over to Katie in, TikTok land. Miss Katie, there's a certain amount of overwhelm. This is normal for you. This is normal for you. But this overwhelm that Spirit's trying to tell me about is that it creates a cloudy thinking. And that's how you've learned to handle the overwhelm, because there's so much. There's so much. They said that toward yourself, you become very passive toward yourself. You kind of like cut yourself out of the equation because you got so much to do. So instead of having, like, let's say, for instance, when that happened to me, I had long hair. Well, I cut it off completely short because I had no time. So I started to eliminate certain things, my looks, my health, my story. They said they want you to begin to understand that you are creating some limitations, and there's things that you're avoiding about yourself. So self-care becomes aftercare. They want you to start to heal yourself so that you can be involved in your life with it. Let's take care of the wiped out feeling, feeling wiped out. And they want you to take your left wrist, find that second position, and then you put your thumb there nice and soft in that second position, make the letter C, and sit there with it. Focus and measure the wiped out, because we want you to bring yourself back into alignment to create your life with your babies, with your life that you have with your family. So I'll go over to, let's see. I see Kat Rogers. Have I read you before? I just want to know. I'm looking at the list here. That's good. I'll come over to Lisa Murray. Kat Rogers, let me know if I've read you before, and then I will take and look over here. So Lisa, Miss Lisa, reality. So they're having you look at your reality, and you feel like you can't do things, can't behave a certain way. I can't do something. And sometimes you get really lofty toward yourself, not nice to yourself. And they said this has a lot to do with feeling the lack. And so you're focusing on all the things you couldn't do or can't do, and it's starting to get to you. So the triple worm in your body just feels like it's not safe. It can't do this. It goes into these war games in your head. They want you to take the right wrist, okay, and do 1, 2, 3. Find that third position down there. Put your thumb there, nice and soft. Make that letter C, and then sit there and begin to feel and think about what I said. They said the biggest thing is that you, with this tool, notice all the stuff you can't self-soothe. Let the body help you, teach you how to do a self-soothing. Do you understand? This is what they want you to do. And I said, is there anything else? They go, no, they want you to go to my website. Thank you, Judy, for putting that up. So it's Medicine Woman Solution, and it's .weebly.com, and you're going to look for stimulating the vagus nerve. And that, I'd say, Katie, that's for you too, stimulating the vagus nerve. One of them is that you can just take and grab onto the back here. Just here's my elbow, go up about an inch, grab the this point here underneath your boob, just on the corner, and sit there and hold yourself and get yourself a hug. And just allow these 2 points to start to balance you. And that's your spleen and your triple worm. And then you do the other side. Okay? Do the other side. And a couple minutes and just start. And maybe do some Wayne Cook. Okay? Kat Rogers, we're going to give you 2 because you're new. And my body's like going, whew, my body's frightened. I'm feeling the body. I said, is this in the mind? No, my body feels frightened. I said, they're saying that your soul has been attracting stuff in, And it seems like a more of aggressive energy. I don't know about in the face, but it feels like an aggressive energy. And self-centered people. Now, your body, because I'm feeling your boob and your indigestion, and all, it's like your body is like, ay, no. But it knows with these people, it has to let something play out. If this makes sense, let me know. And I'm looking, and it just feels like you have to be under pressure to be who they want you to be. Like whether a boss wants you to be this, or somebody's expecting you to do that, and you're under pressure to show up the way they want you to. Okay? They want you to understand that you keep connecting up, bringing in people that have no empathy. And they want you to notice that you are important. And then your body can stop going into self-preservation. I says, where do you want it to heal? Because there's plenty of places. They want you to help your body self-regulate, so it doesn't have to go into automatic response, that I have to be under pressure, that I have to create this personality. They want you to be able to do this. That means they want you to go into the left wrist and under the thumb, line your fingers up at the crick, find the 2 position, 1, 2, find the second position, put your thumb soft, not hard, soft. Make the letter C, finger in palm, wrap these 3. Top of the head, not here, top of the head, let it fall. And sit there and allow yourself to just, all the stuff that you can't regulate, let the body teach you how to regulate. Let's teach that. But see, your body's like, and so you start to lose a little bit of who you are. She goes, I think it's self-imposed limitation thinking, as I am really don't interact with anyone much anymore. Okay, understand, she's right. Her body, it doesn't matter the environment, the body is holding this program from this end result from the past experience. And so it's still believing with certain triggers, whether it's from the TV set, radio, colors, shapes. The body is saying, we haven't resolved this. We haven't had closure. And now it has a chance. And if she can start noticing the thinking, you stay in the thinking of the house. That's one of the things when you're holding this. You don't want to think happy and I'm going to, save myself and this is what it looks like. You're going to sit in your hells of like how you remember things in the past. Look at the key words I said. Let the body pop up the stories. Now, I don't know if I have it on my one other website or not, but it's called the 241. This healing tool is let you give yourself 2 minutes. Deep breath in, let it all out, let your mind drop. You already have the intention that you're looking for something, but you're not looking for it. You're just dropping. And you let your mind wander. And when your mind wanders, it'll tell you exactly what you need to heal out. And then you start to look at it, and then you can measure it. And then you can take your point and to help your body to create closure. It needs this self-regulation. So good job on being aware of that. Okay. Looking to either the rooms. I'm going to jump over to Autumn, Miss Autumn. Okay. My body feels squirrely. What does that mean? Right now, I feel like I got to pee, but yet I don't. I feel like my lower half wants to run. I'm more okay in my head and my body. I think your body's responding to somebody that is not happy. If that makes any sense, because I'm looking and the body says, I want him to go to the temptation of going back to who I used to be, but I don't want to, because my mind says, no, I don't want to, but my body says we have to, but no. So we want the body to come into communication. So I want you to make sure you do left wrist, find that 3rd position, push your thumb in deep. And I want you to listen to the body. I want you to feel how the body, Dad, okay. See, it's the other day. So your body remembers, time doesn't matter. So push in, hold it there, and breathe it through and let the body feel and listen to what it's saying, okay? Just sit there and let it, and then you measure it, bring it down to 0. You can do this. All right, we're going to go to Alicia, Miss Alicia. Who? Her? There's a condition of petrified when somebody comes in her space or when she... Okay, nope. They said when you are having the energy between the environment and you. So whether it's a person, place, or thing, whatever it is, there is this petrified energy that's like not projected from you, but it's, well, let's see, it's towards yourself. So in this case, you haven't even done any action, but you have this thing that says, I'm petrified, but it's towards yourself. I'm petrified of that I may say something wrong or I may do something. So I'm going to look a little bit further. And they said, this petrified kind of like tried to take my attention. I says, what are you doing? About 2 years old. And I was conditioned, so the bell to ring and I'd get petrified because I was always had this picture in my mind that I am being intimidated by somebody's actions. And I think you know who I'm talking about, a parental guardian. Hold R1S, because you need to learn to change that relationship to what you're doing. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I believe she knows what I know I'm talking about. Okay, so now, if there's anybody in the room, let me know. I'm going to go over to Miss TV, Miss Teresa. And Teresa, there's some tools. Tools, and they show the word vulnerability. And you're chasing down how things always have to play out. And I'm asking, you mean you got tools that say you got to stay in vulnerability? Okay, so this is how you survived. And I said, tell me more about, so we know what vulnerability feels like. And they said, when you're about 2 months old, okay, so this is other people's energy fields, and your immune system is, they said there's a story about right and wrong and a worry. And it's like this kind of like makes up what petrified is. And the tools to cope, tools to get you there, tools to be vulnerable. So your body says, I have to be vulnerable. Really? 2 months old, body feels like it needs to be vulnerable. They're not mixing words here. Needs to be vulnerable. Why? Okay, I don't know whether this is true or not, but I just need to ask you, Teresa, did you and your mother and father, or whoever the person is, did your mother have an altercation where you can't harm me because I'm holding the baby? Because if you wouldn't hit somebody wearing glasses, or you wouldn't hit somebody that's holding a baby. This is a vulnerability. Do you understand? I feel like you were a tool of vulnerability. I feel like... And I asked, did the baby, you feel like it had protection? No, this was a conditioned process. It's really pointing about compatibility things. Start to see if that makes any sense. If it does, then notice that you can look at what exertion of power, the power of, like, if you take that scenario, which way is the energy moving? And once you begin to do that, they said that you then can start to do L2D, because this is where it gets very confusing for you as the baby with the energies of other people. Wow, they're getting closer to why your nerves and legs are like that, I believe. Autumn says, I think that he doesn't like the person I'm becoming. Yeah, because, okay, let me explain this, because usually when people like you who you are, because that develops their personality and maybe feel needed or feel like they got power, however it is, don't upset their apple cart. That's their comfort zone. How dare you mess with their comfort zone or their reality? But you have every right to grow, because you're breaking old paradigms. Become you. And, the father usually is like, well, I can get you tamed. I can do this. But learning to accept where you are and where you're going, will they grow with you? That's up to them. And if they really do, they'll want to become in your life, not control your life. But you have to also step up and realize you're taking and having a new role, not just being a daughter. You have a new role. He has to change his hat out too, if, as you guys grow. So it's going to be growing pains. He had his arms crossed a lot of the time that we were together. Yeah, he did not want. He's got to show that authority in some form. Okay. Delinda. All right, Delinda. Have to. You feel like you have to. No, you're conditioned that you have to let it play out, and that the aggressive energy, whether you have to do it, somebody else has to do it, has to be present. And the auto response from your body, what I can feel is the vibration and the frequency are very low, which you want them to be high. And I said, tell me about it. And they said, well, my body lives in a startled state. So the F sharp is lower. So I go in a lot of procrastination procrastination. If you feel like that sounds like you, or if you feel like you have to be forced into doing things and you don't want to, so there's a, go get me those. No, fine, I'll do it type thing. You have to discover how your life is. You have to understand that communication. If so, right wrist, second position, follow the second finger, put your thumb there, nice and soft, make the letter C, and remember to touch the top of the head and let the hand fall. What are you healing out? Startled, procrastination. When people's energies come into the room or into that space, your body just, we have to go in this program. Hopefully, Delinda, did that make sense? Let me know. Oops, there it goes. Miss Nita. There's a lot of depleted energy, but I feel physically that the vibration is low. So you kind of feel that first. And then emotionally, that you're learning the different aspects of what's going on. So you're able to see with the third option. And something that used to where you felt deficient or that invading energy, you're learning to transform. Now, I'm looking at the coccyx, and this is like the pump that happens in the body. You're going to have to learn how to do some Kegels and breathing, like holding your breath and letting it go, so that the pump in your tailbones can like be reset, so that you don't have to go into fear or judgment. Okay, you literally can feel different. And they said when you can take and tap around the coccyx, then turn around and hold R1S, so that your body can start to create a different state of feeling, so that you can get everything to rise and develop. So you're in a rise stage. Hello, Linda. See, he doesn't like change. Well, that's his issue. And your body, I think your lower half, Autumn, was saying, I don't like change. I must be obeyed because I'm the child. Release that fear so that you can grow. Okay, so Linda, here we go. They're right over into the frequency. They're telling me that the frequency of G sharp. You're so used to shutting down the emotions because you've had to be a mother and you've had to rearrange who you are as a mother, because that's very challenging when you have to show up differently, because it's like a whole nother set of rules. Well, you kind of also made yourself feel very irrelevant with that process. The process was needed for how you were doing it, but you're kind of carrying that over. Then you start to feel incompatible with certain areas of your life. So this is where like the wisdom is stuck within all of that. And we want you to get to the wisdom. So the mask and the position, the story of how you had to shutting down the emotions to get to be who you're supposed to be. And then you took that and became a mask when it came to other people. You just need to do it within that, but be more you with someone else. So you're going to do L2D, because there's a temptation, just put the mask on to shut down with other people. No. And they said that so the R2S stomach, because they're saying something about you had the tendency to not understand when somebody wanted you to sympathize with them, so you over-sympathize with them. And I feel like that's kind of like how they pull you in. I don't know how to explain that. But just know that you have that second one about as far as over-sympathizing, R2S. And if you're shutting down the emotion, I'm looking again because I said, where did you just had this? Show me where it is. And they're like, that's not important. So I don't need to give you a point for that. Just do don't put the mask on, and choosing not to be oversympathetic. So it is L2D and then R2S. Okay. Let's see here. So I'm looking at all the rooms, and yeah, Amy, you came on, but I forgot to give you one. So you were absolutely so right. So they're saying that where you are. So you did big healing, this and that. Where are you? And I didn't see a spider, but all of a sudden, I swear to God, I feel a spider. So I think they're saying that you're within the web. And they're looking at how do you find yourself that is important instead of going, what about me, to I'm important too. And instead of proving that, you're at the stage of not even have to play it out. You are starting to hold the energy toward yourself as that, how do you want me to show up? Because I'm important too. This is where I need to be. I'm at this stage. Where do you want me to be? So they said that you can stop stifling who you are, which is R2S. Because you don't have to be startled and let their energy take over and tell you how to think, feel, act, be. Do it now. They want you to begin to be in a different state. So listen to what I said, because there's a lot of energy information. And then once you start to wake up from that, you'll stop having the engrams of everything. With engrams, for anybody want to know what that is, it is like equals like. So if you are startled, it creates a fear. And let's say it had orange and teal and red, and then words and shapes. And that was so long ago, your body will still think, hey, we are in that so long ago, and we'll bring that to the table to where you are now. And as you're beginning to resolve, they want you to start to do what I just started to ask, because they want you to start peeling away and taking the energy off the engrams. And so definitely R2S, because your littles were like on one side going, I'm important too. Then another part of you saying, I know I'm important. But it's learning that how to be important, how to be that you that can come into the room without losing yourself. And you can be of service without feeling you have to be forced, and that you don't have to morph into how everybody else tells you. That's huge. You're welcome, Linda. Yes, that's correct. Hello, Carter. Okay, safety. They're looking at safety, and they're looking at the word of muddled. That area, because now my spleen is starting to feel very wonky, and I'm looking at how a very particular time you had a really bad experience with some people, and they took and aggressively took advantage of you. Your body says it's not time to heal this because you're ready to have your life back. I said, I know she knows what I'm talking about. So it is, she felt deprived at that moment, and safety was gone. And it's time to create closure to that. It's time to mourn, get that over with, get it done. And so they want you to notice that in order to heal yourself, you went into the deprived, because that's what was happening there. And you've been sitting there, and they want you to look at that, and they want you to describe the deprived, and they want you to do right wrist, go down 2 fingers to the second position. No, I'm not flipping you off. Maybe not. And then your thumb goes in that second position, and they want you to do it nice and soft. Make the letter C and 3 fingers. Okay. Measure. All right. You guys are great. Talk to me now that I have yes, just talk to me. And what is today's date? As the 20th. That's tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. Kat, I will talk to you in just a moment. So talk, I can either close the show or we can chat. At this point, it's up to you. I don't really have anything on the list just yet. So chat with me. Or I can, Yep, I'm just double checking in the room. Okay. Been holding it all day. Thank you. You've been holding that point all day. Spirit, it's that we have to give her more. Others' energies. the disapproval of others. So what they want you to notice is that they want you to look from the angle of disapproval from others when you look at that. Do you think retrograde is muddling? Okay, so let me tell you about the beautiful planets. They all have a job to do to help us with our consciousness of growth, or because we forgot how to evolve, it creates the opposite, the involution, and we kind of forgot. So what it's meant to do is supposed to be a subtle reminder that you have to heal these things. But if we don't know how to heal or how to be, they'll sound like a bitch slap to you. If you don't know what's going on and to stop, then you won't. So universe is helping you. The more negativity you're in, the more it sounds like the planets are a bitch. The more you heal your shit, the more the planets are there to support you, and you can be healed that you can retrograde yourself. That what retrograde? You can just, So in this case, the retrograde is helping to get you into a certain stage. Okay, so in this case, look at from that angle. Feel muddled. Just focus on I feel muddled. Now, if I said, let me look, I feel muddled, I'm looking, it has a lot to do with feeling galled. Then I would say you hold L2S. So you got other stories that are coming up nice and soft. So when we, depending on the more you unresolved stuff, the more the planets will feel like, in the moons and the eclipses, it'll feel like hell. But if you learn how to read them, they're asking you to go heal that. And you can start to heal the muddled out. Now, see, there is an actual place for muddled, which would be, and you can add this to your repertoire later, Carter, and that's R3S. So it's the right wrist, third position, nice and soft. But your muddled frequency that's supposed to be in the triple warmer has invaded into the L2S, which is the gallbladder, which is also gone into the very first point I gave you. So you're healing out certain frequency levels, and you can label them like I did with gold and stuff like this. You can move yourself farther and faster. Thank you so much, Angela. Your name will go into the drawing for the 8 minutes. Okay. And anybody that shared today, let me know. Shared, because when you share the video out or do a mention at Medicine Woman Solution, your name can go into 2 drawings for a chance to win some. How you doing, Amber? Yes, we're having a great day, and it gets better and better. So thank you, Spirit. All righty. So if you'd like a reading, let me know. I believe I've got everybody on the list, but we'll just double check anyways. Looking in the rooms, looking into all the rooms. Very good, very good. So a reading does not have to be painful, hurtful, but if you listen to how you want to evolve, your soul will give you a great information. Same for loved ones. I don't know why, but I just got a whole bunch of loved ones that are just says waving, and I feel it's not just for one. I feel like all different kinds of connections to everybody that's watching, even some people that are going to watch this later. Your loved ones are saying hello. I feel like there's a big party going on, and I don't know why. I feel maybe it has to do with the fact we have gotten into a certain shift stage. Yeah, they're all getting more excited now. So they're celebrating our growth. How interesting. Yes, I can feel this. They're like super, super excited because the level to hear them is getting stronger. So they said, just say thank you, Spirit. Breathe in, breathe out, let yourself drop, and get yourself into the awareness that your loved ones are going to speak to you. And if you notice a breeze, a feather, however, you say thank you, Spirit, for showing me that they're here. And you will begin to notice this because Spirit is there. And we have this ability now. So a certain light code has been activated. You not just downloaded, it became activated. So this means it's something you had the ability before. Miss Amber. Yes, my love. They're saying NESS, ness. Loftiness, awkwardness. passiveness. Picture, you have a lot of pictures with these in it. They said the pictures sit you and put you, it just sets off your limbic system, which is your emotional brain, that you have to act a certain way, like act mean or act, when you become very self-conscious. I feel like you're like a dog in a corner and you feel like you need to bite. Does this make sense? And they said this particular personality has a lot to do with, you want to keep them around the home and then at the same time get the hell out. Or that maybe that's towards you. I don't know which way it is. But I also feel that this is monotonous. Your soul says, hey, you're getting tired of having to live this way. And when you start to feel safe enough, you'll start to let it go, because the frustrations are building up and putting in this, what in the heck you call it? The intolerance tube. Ah, gotcha. Yeah. You just keep going back to the same story. Remember that when it comes to the Father, how you do anything is how you do everything. You're growing, you're rising, you're choosing not to repeat. There is a hook that makes you go back in to seeing the same thing with this person. And I said, is there anything particular that she needs to wake up to? It's the energy pull games. Wake up to the, like with my ex, I had to catch that he was gaslighting, that he always wanted to just be ego, right, and never kind, right, even when he's wrong. And it's like, I'm so done with that. You have to get to the enough's enough stage, and you're going to start to remove the condition. When you see that, like gaslighting, or you're seeing that they're doing this, the pimp, and the pimp is, they can be Gandhi and love you, and you fall for that, and then they become Hitler and attack you, and then they bring out Gandhi as soon as they got you into the position that yes, you're going to obey. Do you understand? So that's, you got to wake up to that program. And to help you understand this, I want you to feel the pressure, the under pressure that makes you have to go there. And the under pressure. So they said that if you start off with L2S, okay, he's getting kicked out of his place and he's been begging. Yeah, see, that's the thing, is that notice the energy pull. Let me tell you, if you didn't exist, he would land. He would land. He would find something else. And so you want to make sure. And so what your soul keeps bringing into your bag, they want you to do L2S. And so that your body can self-regulate when you, so you're going to focus on how he begs and the energy pulls, how he begs and the energy pulls, L2S it, L2S it, keep doing it, measure, 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 get it out, get it out, get it out. And then you can start reclaiming your power, and you're going to say, oh, let's brainstorm together. Is there somebody else? Yes. What could you do? If I was gone, who would you go and ask? Would you go to the bar and pick up another chick? Would you go to your grandma's or whoever? You know, I mean, let's problem solve. Let me teach you the ability, because I really feel like you need a mother right now. Maybe you don't want to use trigger words, but you just like with your kids, you're going to teach independence. We're going to teach them independence. So you're in fear right now. Put your hand on your head. Let's get this fear down. Let's help you to resolve, to evolve. You're asking me to show up like a mom. So let me help you. Let me help you and sit you down and help him heal. Yes, he is social media. Oh, gotcha. Okay. And the thing is he can find it. He can find relations. Anybody on social media that wants to take and raise me. No, don't put it that way. That's rude. Does anybody want to help me? Say, let's put it out there. Maybe somebody you'll match up, because there's always somebody for somebody, but you're not that somebody anymore. Let's sit you down. Let's help you self-regulate. Let's heal this out so that you can problem solve, because you're ready to grow up. Now that part of you, you already know you're supposed to hold L2S, because so you don't play this game. So you don't have to play these energy pull games and don't have to fall for it anymore. You can learn to help him differently. Miss Angela Stokes. We're going to talk about love. And love has something to do with when that terrible thing happened to your son. It marked your brain. And it created this limitation and cloudy thinking. And I have to. Your stability was thrown off course. Fear became your master. And you've been doing everything you can to heal. You can't help but to sour grape, because this is the process of how grief looks like. They said they want you to do R1S, right wrist first position, Miss Angela Stokes. And they want you to start working on this hammerhead. What they want you to do is start noticing, oh, I keep around the homestead. If I just done this, if I just done that, sit there and think about this, that you wish that you would have kept them around. You wish that you would come around. You wish that, okay? That's what I want you to think. I want you to measure, and go into that to heal, start healing that part of you. Hey, Deb, you looking for a read? And thank you so much for sharing. Karina Minty through L2S. What's that? I've never heard this before. Okay. So Karine Minty. So I'm here to help people to self-heal, self-empower, notice that they can heal themselves. And the body knows how to do it. The L2S is that we're using pulse points on the wrist. We're using our hands because it's electromagnetic. We're using the forehead, which is the frontal lobe creates reality. And this is a way to connect to your innate intelligence that does the healing. Your body does the healing. So it is a tool. So then you would hold it. Now, every point's different with different stories. They're connected to the meridians and they're connected to certain emotions. And these are energy pathways that talk to you and tell you how to go in and out of all of your Akashic records that have not been resolved. Okay. Goodbye, Lisa. Get well, my dear. Get well. You have to give me an update, And we got to get you back to laugh. Hope you're laughing, Lisa. More joy, more comedy. Miss Deb. Here we go. Deb. Avoid vulnerability and apathy. Somehow those is about how I feel love is unreceived. So my love is unreceived. My love is unreceived. And I feel like there's a habit in how you know that. Does that make sense to you? Because there's a certain amount of stability that is not quite stable. So there's this defense that somehow keeps going off. Your body says it wants to be nervous about something. And as I look, I see a condition. So it's like a bell. When the bell rings, you're supposed to get aggressive, feel awkward, take a stance and have to be lofty and be in charge. And there's a part of you that don't know how to trust yourself in stepping into that role. Does this make any sense? And they said that there's a hidden story that's ready to be revealed. Deb, let me know if that makes any sense. Oh, good. You are. Good. All right. My love is there for you. Keep going, keep growing, keep healing. Okay. And wow, that's cool. You're welcome. Again, watch all the old videos. They're free. You can follow along on the healings. All the old archives of the videos all of them can be found on Facebook, my fan page. Go down to the videos. You'll see it all. And you will see there's timestamps. Then you can also look at some of the older ones on YouTube. So let you know. So with Deb, I asked, where would you like her to begin to heal this? And they said, if she were to notice rejection, define it, understand it, she could take R1S, right wrist, first position, soft. Because what it starts to do is it starts to mess with your world. And I feel fear is somehow involved in that. Okay, somehow it's involved in that. Alrighty. Is it raining there? I've tried 2 different earbuds. I hear rain. No, you might have static. Anybody else hear anything? It's not raining here, and I don't really have a fan on or anything, so I try to keep my studio very quiet for me so I can hear. Hey, there you are. That's an average mother. How you doing? Okay, she would like one. You're over something. You're over something. You're just done with it. And what you are done with? I'm done with dreaming. So I feel like you got your hopes up and then you got a bad experience and you're done with it. And do you feel jealous sometimes? So your body is saying, anywhere in your life have you ever felt jealous? Because it's starting to come to the surface. Even if you're not jealous here, your body is saying something about this. And there's something to do with territorial issues. Now I'm feeling the story they're pulling in my head is like if someone died, it's about land. Somebody says, well, I lived in this house for so long, I should have it. And you're like, yeah, but I'm important too. There's something to do with territory. I feel like you may be in a frustrating situation. I says, what's the best way to help her? Yes, my life is hard. Wow. Okay. So what's the best way to help? That's average mother. Is that they said that you have to start creating safety within yourself while the shit show's happening. So they want you to take your right wrist, go down 3 positions. The third position, that's where you place your thumb, nice and soft. Put your finger there to make the letter C. Place your hand on top of your head, let it fall. Sit there. Measure out. Oh my God, yes. I don't feel secure. I don't feel safe. And just feel the shambles that's going on. Measure it. Stay in your house. Shambles. Stay there. Stay there. This is what the healing tool will help. And then what happens is that you're sitting there and the thoughts and the emotions will start to self-regulate. The body will start doing the healing for you. You can keep measuring. And even if the life is hard, you can start regaining your energy field to help you get through this faster and faster. Okay? So hopefully it makes sense to you. That's an average. I wouldn't say that you're just an average mother. You've got some importance, some purpose, some gifts and skills that you haven't even discovered yet. Just like if I was saying, I'm just Brenda. No, you're so much more than that. We're not just anymore. We're important. We have a voice and we're in here. And we don't have to scream, holler, shout. We can rise. We can rise. All righty. Anybody else want to talk? Anybody there? Any of this? Just double checking everything again. You guys are wonderful. Now, I have some, maybe some sad news for some people, but don't think of it as sad. See it as can you do this? You can go back and watch old videos. You can, oh, no, honey, I won't tell the sad news yet. Sweetheart, I already can tell you're not just a mom. You are a mom, but you're doing this right now and you're putting on all the hats and the roles. But the beauty that sits there is ready, it's shining, and it's waiting so that you can be the best mom you can, but don't overdo it. Don't do aftercare. Take care of yourself now, self-care now. But when you start to decide to rise and really discover who you are for you and the children, you're going to find out that you're more beautiful than you can imagine, not physically, but every level, because the inside beauty is what's going to shine. And you're going to be able to notice what I like. You're so used to feeling invalidated. This feels foreign to you. These are all things that can heal because you got a beautiful inner voice. And see, and that's the thing. I when people come to the, when they join tribe and they do these things, they get to find their voice. They get to find, whoa, I didn't even know I was busy. I didn't even know I lost myself. I thought I just did the next logical step. I only woke up, did the same pattern every single day. I didn't realize I lost myself. But when you get connected to your higher self, you can bring more energy to the table to do this. You can bring more energy to the table to be this mother. You can bring more energy to the table. These are not your person. These are just roles you play. You're so much more than this. So much more. And the world needs you. You may not think it, but it does. The kids, you're their world. But when they start creating that independence, you do too. And then self-empowerment and independence and a love. The best is yet to come, sweetheart. Okay, the best is yet to come. All right. Just double checking in the rooms. to make sure there's anything else. Now, as I was going to tell you, so I do my shows 3 times a week, and then I do tribal. So me and my hubby are going to actually decide to, shut down for a day or two. What we're going to do, so we I don't think I'm going to do Thursday show. Let me get my calendar out. We're trying to make it. So we're intentionally looking at the wheel of life and making sure we're balancing it. And one of them is not to work all the time, because I love is not work, it's play, but I still have to have a vacation and find those other deeper levels of me so that I can really be a well-rounded person. So this is the 9th today. So the 26th, I probably won't be doing a show. And if I do, it's because I have the capabilities, and maybe I might be testing a new camera. Don't know. And I may or may not do Monday show. May or may not do 30th, which is the 29th. And the 26th, maybe the 25th for you. So just so you understand, most of the time, the people that are in the United States or Canada, that's the 25th. My show shows up because I'm in Australia and I've got many hours ahead of you. So your future self is telling you it's all good. Okay. But so the 25th, 26th show, and the 29th and the 30th show, I may or may not. I don't know. So just hang in there. I may even just jump on TikTok here and there now and then as well, because that's an avenue I need to get to build up as well. You're welcome. That was beautiful. Thank you. I needed that. Yes. See, the thing is just remember, I want you to bring awareness to remember. We're not going to just cut it off. An awareness to remember that you are this wonderful being. And you play these roles and these archetypes but that's not who you are. You are a beautiful soul that's learning different parts of who you are. You go study, yes. Yay, Angela. It's a long weekend. We're going to do our best. Again, I may jump on TikTok. Just because that's an avenue that I want to keep growing. I've got to get the tribal going. Spirit says if I can't cope with that, or if I can't get that to evolve, then there's no sense of me doing any more work. And it's like, oh, I got work to do. So I have to figure out what that means. So I'm just saying, thank you, Spirit, thank you, Spirit, thank you, Spirit, whatever it is. I'm going to grow. So I'm going to be in a state of flux of growth, learning, studying. I'm going to get out my beautiful books and begin to read and to see what Spirit wants me to hear and to grow. So just to let you know, I believe that we're going to carve it out and just say, this is for us. So after tribal, I think I'm going to just kind of like shut off the media world. I'm sure I'll be getting on it, but not to work. Not sure what we're doing yet, but I'm sure Spirit's going to make it fun. And I'm ready. I'm ready to spend my time, and we're probably going to go walking and goofing off. And, I'm sure that, yes, thank you, Spirit. There will be some good food, because I don't really want to cook. Because, when you're on vacay, even no matter how you're doing it, whether you're staying home and doing whatever, you shouldn't have to cook all the time either. So I'm saying, thank you, Spirit, for the food. Yum, yum, yum. Thank you for the roses. Your name will go into the drawing as well. Okay, you guys, I love you. Thank you. I appreciate it. So again, hang in there. Thank you for sharing it out. Thank you for communicating. Thank you for growing. Thank you for holding this space, that you are worth it. And soon you'll stop forgetting that you're not. You're going to go, you know what? I am worth it. I already am whole. I'm going to start seeing it too. So the more you stick with me, you're going to begin to understand hashtag resolve to evolve, hashtag heal instead of deal, hashtag feel it to heal it, hashtag you can heal that, or I can heal that. And the other one's kind of long, so I don't really hashtag that one. But if you can remember it, I'm doubting. I'm going to grab a tool. And I'm going to, when in doubt, grab a tool and heal it out. You're worth it. You are worth it. Remember to measure. You've got to look at those parameters. Use the key of awareness to lift those veils. I already see you whole. I already see you blessed. So stay blessed. And I'm going to shut off Facebook first, which I got to grab the right mouse. And remember, happy healing. And you in YouTube or TikTok land, no, YouTube land. And we're going to say bye-bye. And until next time. And then over into